Hello and welcome to episode 6 of the Knitmancy podcast. I'm Valentina, your host, coming at you from Northern Virginia in the United States. Before we get into everything, let me mention the social medias and then I'll go over what we're going to talk about today. So my socials, you can find me on Instagram as Middle of the Madness, or you can find me on Ravelry as Knittermancer. You can also find the group for this podcast under the Ravelry groups tab as Knitmancy podcast. So I have some finished objects. I've got some works in progress, all good stuff, and then a little bit of chit chat about past weekend and then what's coming up in the next week. So let's get on to all the goodness. So part of my finished objects, I have both some knitting and a tiny bit of spinning. No big deal. So, grab the first object. I do have the honeycomb mitts that I was working on in the last episode. There is a left and a right now. Oh my gosh. I was almost done with this one, I think. No, this one. Did this one first. And it's just got a honeycomb cable pattern and a plain underside, and it was knit in hedgehog fiber skinny singles in the bee's knees colorway, kind of why there's the honeycomb pattern on it. For the most part, I got the initial numbers in the pattern from the I Love Bee Socks by Vanessa Townley. Pretty sure that's her last name. So now I'll move on to my next thing, which is the Leafy Reticule by Hahn Buchner. It is a lacy bag. You're supposed to put handbag handles on it. It's just at Joann's craft store, fabric store. Should have grabbed some so that I could block it and get rid of these ends that are hanging out. But it is a leafy lacy little bag. Eventually I'll get handles for it and all that goodness. And it's knitted out of a DK weight wool from a sheep named Wookie, I believe. So that's pretty neat. And now onto the little bit of spinning. This looks like one big skein, but it is not. It is in fact 3 little smaller ones. So I've had 2 of these. These are all a mess. It's very much my fault. I've had 2 of these around. But now we have a 3rd one because that's what I did on the 4th of July. I spun up some Jacob. And let me see if I can tell which one it was that I spun. It's one of them. So the leader on my wheel, on Finnegan, is white. And I know that one of the skeins, I think it's this one. This is the most recent one. One of the skeins ended up with a little bit of the white still left on it. So these are all about a fingering weight, maybe a little bit thicker in places. Just let me steam this up real quick so that I can get this out of the way. Boop, boop. And then it looks like normal, typical skein. I have no clue how much I have still so far, but I'm thinking when I finally get to knitting it, I'm going to take So Faded Sweater, because I do have white as well, and I have it all kind of just sitting over here. I do have white as well, and I'd love to put those 2 together. Alright, so now let's move on to the works in progress. Boop. So we have this shawl that I've been working on for a while now, that we've seen before, and I'm in the middle of a row because I'm unorganized. That's how I roll. So we always check the cable repeats. I was about there last time I podcasted. So it's almost another repeat of the center cable. And then I'm in a seed stitch section. I have decided that this will be the last section before I do a border on it. And then I'll call it done just because I'm struggling to work on it some days. So this is close to done. It might be done by next podcast. It might not because stuff is happening. We'll see. We'll see. Next up we have my Belle de Jour socks. So I have one sock done and needs to be woven in, but you know, such as it is. So that. That is what it looks like on the blocker. And I've talked last time about how I liked the heel, so let me adjust it so I can show that off a little bit better. And it's got like this triangular heel flap with a gusset on the bottom of the foot. So I have started the second one, and I've gotten like a repeat and a half done-ish, something like that. And that is a pattern by Natalia Vasilieva in the Gypsy Stardust yarn on their Gypsy base and Mermaids. The shawl is made in Knit Picks City Tweed DK in the Tahitian Pearl colorway. And then I have, this is what I cast on for the 4th of July. Because why not? I have the Protest is Patriotic shawl by Elizabeth Sovern. And it has stars and stripes. It's the American flag. That's why I cast it on the 4th of July. And it is knit in Knit Picks palette. Blue might just be blue. I don't know the actual color. And then a white, kind of creamy natural color. And then the red is the Knit Picks Stroll in Firecracker Heather, I believe it is. I've also done a little bit of work on my husky hair spin, but I don't think it's really enough to be noticeable or to really honestly care about it. So I think that about wraps everything up, unless I'm forgetting something. And I mean, seems like one of those days. I'm very possibly forgetting something, but whatever. We'll keep going. So we'll talk about the chit-chatty stuff. So, last weekend, I recorded on Thursday. Today I'm recording on Friday, or this week I'm recording on Friday when I normally record. Because on Friday I had left early, like 10 o'clock, to head down 95 to go spend the weekend with my mom. Well, because of, there's a naughty shop down in Richmond, they were having a customer appreciation day. So what happened was we went down there and no, there was no tattoos to be had. For us anyway. And I did get something from the customer appreciation day, so let me grab him. He's just right over there. It's a little bit of an oddity or a weird thing, and it might gross out some people, but I think he's kind of cute. I have a little friend. He's just a lizard in a jar. He's got spots on his back. He's a lizard in a jar. I discussed that I have multiple skulls, and right there is a necklace with bone. I've got multiple skulls from them and all part. I have a skull from them, but I collect oddities from them because I know I can rely on them to have oddities. So I got that little lizard guy, and I mean, we did some other things, just little things. such as, or I spun a wheel and I won a couple of little goofy doodads. I think that's about it. I went down Friday, hung out. Saturday was that. Sunday I came home. I brought my sister home with me, so she's in the other room. She knits, but she's having a moment and doesn't want to be on the podcast. Okay, it's fine. Now coming up this weekend, or this next week, it is partially this weekend. I'm going back down to Richmond. I'm actually going to go further than Richmond because on Tuesday I'm going to Warp Tour down in Virginia Beach, taking my brother with me. So that's neat. I'm real excited because I know it doesn't seem this way most of the time. I have funny hair, ears full of holes. Oh, there's my conch. Ears full of holes. Not so bad on that side. September. Because Anti-Flag is going to be there, as well as Street Dogs, and they're two of my favorite bands. If you're not super familiar, they're punk bands, as well as William Control, who was the singer for Aiden for a while, and then he started doing his own thing, and now he only does William Control. Again, I really, really love. So it's very exciting. There's a band local to Richmond that's going to be there. They're more metal. Not necessarily the stuff I'd constantly listen to, but they're pretty good. So that's all exciting. I need to pack up for that, decide what I'm taking with me. Make sure that I take stuff that I can actually do with me, because I'll be without internet for the most part. I need to make sure I pack sunscreen. I need to make sure I pack water bottles. And it's an event. I have to make sure I pack everything that I need. Just one for the week and then two for that day. I'm like looking around trying to see if there was anything that I really needed to pack behind me. And also this week, I'll explain how I set up to do the podcasting in the first place. But in conjunction to all this. This week I had pre-ordered the Mass Effect Andromeda Loot Crate. I have mentioned I am a gamer. And I do really love Mass Effect. It's one of my favorites, along with Unravel and all that. So I've gotten the Mass Effect Loot Crate before, and normally they just come with a bunch of stuff united under some theme. And generally, loot crates will be from a variety of nerdy things. Well, they also do their limited edition loot crates. I think currently they're running one for Stranger Things, which I will not be purchasing. Unfortunately, whatever. No big deal. But this time around, I kind of joke it was full of like silly things. I got 2 pins. I have a jacket that I put pins and patches on, so I got 2 pins, a patch, some little weird things. Got a little Nomad, which is your main vehicle, aside from your ship, the Tempest, in the game. I also have my full-size model Nomad. So I have a little one, and I have a baby and a mama. He's sitting up there with Yoshi. Oh. I got like cereal bowls. What? I'm not really offended by the cereal bowls. It kind of amuses me. I got, it's like a little coin. I hate the little package it's in. Coin, metal. To me it's a metal. It's awfully big for a coin. Like that. A hoodie. I always love a hoodie. And glasses. And a comic book. And a box. I know a lot of people will do the box of socks, cowl thing, but due to how I've restructured my stash and my buying habits for yarn, it's not very practical for me. But I do keep the boxes they come in because with these limited edition boxes, you can turn them inside out and they're really pretty. They're really cool. So I have that one, and I might make it a Christmas gift box, as in I'm going to stick a bunch of things that I've knit that, you know, I don't necessarily want or need to keep. And then at Christmas time, walk around and tell everyone, or tell the ladies, depends on what's in my box, to just pick what they want out of it. That's how you make gift knitting easy. You just knit things and then let people choose. I will be putting like care instructions with every knit object so that, you know, somebody doesn't accidentally get 100% wool thing, like non-superwash wool thing, and then tries to launder it normally. I know that we try not to do that, but you know, sometimes it happens. Say Libby. So that's what's coming up. I think that's all that I have to really say this week. Huge contrast from last week, I know. Do I have anything else to mention? I don't think so. I'm not seeing anything, so I think I'm going to call it a day. Short. It's fine with me. And I will be back by Friday next week. So I'll be able to record again, so see you next week. Or you'll see me next week. So yeah. Alright, so I'll sign off. Goodbye and be well.